Now, where this parcel shelf scores brownie points for me is just here. Hook these off, pop it out the back bits. That's one. Oh my, your mum. Now, if you ask me, there are two main things that matter when buying an SUV. The space and how comfortable it can be when driving. And having lived with the Elroq for quite some time, in this video we're going to go out for a drive and talk all things space, its looks, its price, its rivals, and of course how it drives. Let's get into it. You're going to like it. So in case you didn't know, this of course is the Skoda Elroq, and it gets its name from the Skoda Karoq. With this being electric, they decided to just change some lettering around and call it the Elroq. I know, it sounds like a bad dad joke, but what isn't bad is the space in this thing. Starting off up here, up front there is tons of visibility. It is a tad bit dark because there is no pan roof with this spec, but I love it. You've got electric seats over here and also massage seats, but for some reason on the passenger side, it's standard, it's not electric. This is quite common recently on a lot of cars. Adding to the great front end is this, excuse the cheeky plug for Yokohama, but just in here you can see we've got two cup holders, and what you have is this fancy little divider that allows you to separate your drinks. Say if you went to McDonald's or something and got a large, you could put it in there, or if you were good and decided to get a small, you could fit it in there. I'm not quite sure whether that's small, but you get the drift. Something to note though is due to the shape of it, doesn't do well with taller drinks, simply because if the drink doesn't have a lid, say it's a fizzy energy drink, I'm not going to say the name because it's horrible, that could spill back and go into this bit here, which you don't want to do because down here it is endless. Let me show you guys, look, it's endless. It's like the tunnel of doom. And that will just get filled up with Red Bull, which obviously hasn't happened, and then you have to drink it all out, which obviously I haven't done. Up front we have this small cluster. I know it is small, but it's an electric car. You don't really need to see much other than your speed. Down here is where I love it. I just love the simplicity. You've got a nice little scroll wheel here and here, one for your volume and one to go through some of your modes, and you've got a 2-spoke steering wheel. Middle spoke missing, so 2-spoke steering wheel and natural buttons. Again, cruise control over here. Skoda just like to make things simple. You can see nothing really fancy. Of course you do have to adjust your volume here, but nonetheless very, very simple. And what I do like is for an electric car, unlike its cousins, you don't have to change your gears here. That's for your window wipers, as it should be. And down here you have the standard gear shifter. And with my driver's seat being where it is in my position, there is tons of space back here. Look at that. Headspace is a-okay. Like I said, it is a tad bit dark, but nonetheless it is a great place to be in. So in the space department, it all just works. We've also got 2 USB-C ports down there, and you also have this little cubby here, which is removable. Just lift it up and out it goes in case you want to put somebody in the middle who has legs, just to give them a bit more space. Overall, it just works. And I also love this. Forget the Halford cheap blinds. You've got that. And that looks a lot neater than all of those suction ones that bend and get holes in it. Yeah, just go for this spec. Now with this spec, we also get this. See, watch, my one hand on the camera, one hand here. Swipe your foot and stand back. And the boot opens. There we go. As you can see, there is tons of space up in here. But it's not just about space. This thing has got quite a few tricks. Now, if you press this button, it's called the Happy to See Me button. Just down here, the tow bar swings out, and now you can literally tow your caravan or whatever you want to tow. And then when you finish, again, happy to see you too. Press the button, it goes a bit soft. Tuck it away. Now, where this parcel shelf scores brownie points for me is just here. Hook these off, pop it out the back bits. That's one. Oh my, your mum. Now, where this car scores even more points in the space department is here. Hook this off, and then pop out the back bit. It's a bit stiff, which is good. Here, boy, and here, and you now have the parcel shelf down on another level. So hook it in through there, slide it into the back and drop it on these hooks. And now you have a middle parcel shelf. It's like a fridge, you know, at the top shelf you got the chocolate and the Snickers, all the nice things to keep it away from the little princess, and in the middle you put the hummus and the carrots because she doesn't like it. parent advice. Now, this is great because it can take up to 3 kg. So if you didn't fancy having your eggs rattle around in the back, put it on here. And if your eggs weigh that heavy, lay off the protein, mate. And partial shelf aside, you've also got all of these spaces in here, in there, over here, over there, just to make things a lot easier to live with. Not forgetting that little bit over there, which allows you to just chuck things in and stop it from floating around. Now, Skoda's claimed 0 to 60 is 6.6. Let's see what we get. 60. And with some wind behind us, we've managed a 6.14. Lovely. Now, despite having a comfort mode, nothing really changes other than the throttle response and, of course, the steering feel, because unfortunately this does not have any adaptive suspension, or in the Volkswagen Audi group terminology, dynamic chassis control. And to be fair, it's on 21-inch wheels. As standard, you get 19s, and if it was on 19s, the ride might be a bit smoother. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not teeth shattering. However, it is a tad bumpier than I'd like. Now, again, that could be down to the 19s, and that's the compromise, because if you want nice, big looking wheels, you gotta compromise on ride quality. It's like being muscular. You can't be big and muscular like me and then try and scratch your back. It's just not gonna happen. You gotta win some and you gotta lose some. And in the comfort side of thing, I don't think it's winning or losing. I just think it could be a bit smoother. Now, in terms of visibility, in this driving position, in these electric massage seats, I love it. Now, there are a few SUVs, notably the Q4 e-tron that I've had recently, which is a cousin / rival of this car, and having to glance over the left side of the car when turning left to avoid hitting curbs is something I was doing quite often. With this, the window line here is great, visibility is great, a lot of light for the driver, especially with this nice white interior we've got here. The whole front end, in terms of space and driving feel and visibility, it works. And when we do press our mode button and go into sport and chuck it into a corner, despite this not being anything towards sporty, it's not the Sportline or the big boy VRS, the body roll off this thing is quite surprising. Now, again, we're on a public road, so we're not going to be throwing it round bends as if we were on track, but from some of the roads I've experienced and when moving the car around here, it just digs in and goes. It's not got four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, this is rear-wheel drive. It's quite surprising how good it handles, again, for a non-sport variant. It's good. Now, a scary thing about most EVs are the brakes, even though they're very quick, most of them anyway, and this is no exception. It's very fast. However, on the rear, it's got a drum brake. There's no disc, and on the front, it's got a disc brake, of course, but the caliper isn't any big 4-pot or 6-pot. Again, it's not the Sportline or the VRS, I understand that, even though the Sportline isn't really a sports version, it's just trim. It's quite edgy sometimes. If you want to get on it and push and then get on the brakes, it doesn't fill you with the same confidence that you'd find in a normal car with normal rear brakes. And I think that's down to the way they set the brakes up. Again, when you brake, it regens the battery, so just be careful is what I'm trying to say. You're not going to be looking to take this thing on track anytime soon, but if you do push it, be careful. You ain't got a disc back there, you got a little drum. And also with the advanced package, you have the Canton sound system, which isn't gonna blow your ears out, but it's crisp and it's good. And with all due respect, this is a Skoda. Skoda's all about making good cars that are affordable, and to throw in a sound system, I'm pointing down there because it's got a big Canton word across the speaker cover, it's a good system. So choose the advanced package and enjoy it. Not like this Fiat in the front. Don't choose this Fiat 500. You ain't going to enjoy nothing. It's a 60. She's doing 43. Alright, cut the camera. You know what's going to happen. And when you're in eco and you're not driving like you've just stolen the thing, 4 kilowatts per mile is easily attainable. At the minute, I'm seeing 3.5. And that's because I've been honing it and sending it and squeezing on the throttle in sports mode. But when you just set the cruise control to 60 on this road, like we could do, and just let the car do its thing, easily I've seen a maximum of 4.1, 4.2 if I was sponsored, but 4.1 because I'm not sponsored. 4.1 miles to the kilowatt hour is easily attainable, and that's great. Again, 82 kilowatt hour battery, you do the math. 360 could be at a push. I'd say you're probably going to be looking around 300 to 320 miles from a full battery. I always want to say from a full tank of battery, and that just sounds weird. And when it comes to parking, flicking the gear shifter into reverse gives you the 360-degree camera view, which is absolutely amazing. There is no excuses, front, rear, and even on your alloys, for a scratch to happen. This is the complete package. Tell me otherwise. And talking of packages, packaged neatly under here, as mentioned, is your AC charger, and this will charge from 0 to 100 in around 12 hours at a home charger. That's 7 kilowatt charger, 0 to 100 in 12 hours. Decent. And the max speed charge of this is 175 kilowatts. That is very, very fast. So plug in the big boy and you can go from 10% to 80 in under 30 minutes. Win, win, win. And in the looks department, you just can't deny this is a good looking car. The colour definitely helps. This solid colour is actually named after me. It's called Timiano Green. I'm lying, they didn't name it after me, but they should have, because green's my favourite colour. Actually, it's blue, but I could run round to this. And normally with the edition spec, you get 19-inch alloys, but they've upgraded to these 21-inch Supernova anthracite wheels with this diamond cut finish. And I've got to say, it worked. And around the front of the car, I quite like this new design Skoda are going for. They've got rid of this big beaver grille that most cars have on the front, and they've given you this almost futuristic slash suburban slash American style New York traffic front end with these nice LED lights. This car again just seems to be the all-rounder. Again, there could be prettier cars out there, but for the price, which we'll touch on later, this is a looker. And what I really love is these dynamic lights. Look at that. It's very Audi, and again, it's its cousin, so why not? It's called the Skoda Elroq, in case you didn't know, and it's the 85 edition, which doesn't make sense. Now, the batteries available are a 55, 63, 82, and with the VRS, you get an 84 kilowatt hour battery. Where's the 85? Now, the lowest spec Elroq starts at around 30k, with the highest spec, the VRS, starting around 45k. Now, one of its rivals is the Kia EV3, which has a base price of 32k, and in my opinion, it's a weird looking car. You also have the Renault Scenic E-Tech, which has a base price of 42k, but I've got to be honest, that's a very good looking car. Then we have the Volvo EX30, which starts at 32k. Good price, but looks wise, no, the eyes are too far apart. It's like Sid from Ice Age. And then you have its cousin, the VW ID.4, which has a base price of 38k. I've had one. I've not done a review on the channel, but I've actually had one before, and it's a great car, but looks-wise, again, I'd take the Elroq. And finally, Audi Q4 e-tron, which I've had recently on the channel, and it's a great car with all of its fancy trickery, but it starts at 45k. So hopefully now you can see why I'm ranting so highly about this car and why I gave it the title that I did. And if you do look at the title of this video, also look at that thumbs up button. And if you have enjoyed this video, please smash the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see all of your beautiful faces in the next one. Take care and God bless.